Welcome to BookMind. This is The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles, one of the most powerful prosperity texts ever written. Don't just listen, absorb these words. Let them shape your beliefs about wealth, mindset, and universal power. This book is pragmatical, not philosophical. It is a practical manual, not a treatise upon theories. It is intended for the men and women whose most pressing need is for money, who wish to get rich first and philosophize afterward. It is for those who want results and are willing to take the science behind getting rich seriously. Getting rich is not a matter of environment. It's not about talent. Wealth is available to everyone because the universe operates by laws. When you act in a certain way, riches flow to you. Chapter 1. The Right to be Rich. Let us begin with a truth, one that may feel revolutionary, even rebellious to some, yet it is the foundation of all abundance. You have the absolute right to be rich. Not just the permission, not just the possibility, but the right, as natural and essential as the right to breathe, to grow, to love. The desire for riches is not sinful. It is not immoral. It is not something to suppress, to hide, or to feel guilty about. It is divine. It is the expression of life itself, seeking to unfold, to expand, to rise up from limitation into greater freedom, joy, and fulfillment. Every living thing seeks to grow. A tree stretches its limbs to the sky. A flower opens toward the light. And so does your spirit long to express more, to be more, to do more, to have more. This desire, this inward urge toward more life, is not greed. It is life pulsing within you, urging you to fulfill your potential. To live fully, you must live richly. You must have food, clothing, shelter, comfort, rest, recreation, and beauty. You must have time and space to nurture your mind, to awaken your spirit, to explore your purpose. A person cannot live a complete and successful life without being rich. This is not a call to hoard wealth or dominate others. It is a call to rightful abundance, a wealth that uplifts not only you, but everyone around you. You cannot give what you do not have. You cannot teach what you have not learned. You cannot help others from a place of struggle and depletion. True service comes after fulfillment, not before. So let us remove all confusion, all guilt, all hesitation. To be rich is righteous. To desire wealth is holy. To pursue abundance is spiritual. Think for a moment of all the good you can do with more. With more money, you can educate your children better. You can live in a healthier environment. You can eat food that nourishes your body. You can travel, rest, recover, and be inspired. You can support causes that matter. You can give, truly give, without hesitation or scarcity. Wealth is not simply luxury. It is leverage for life. Now, consider this. No man ought to be satisfied with a little if he is capable of using and enjoying more. Why should you limit yourself to what is merely sufficient when you are capable of so much more? To restrict yourself to a meager existence is not humility. It is resistance to the divine current of life. Life wants you to be all you can be. And to become all you can be, you need access to the tools and conditions that allow your fullest growth. Think of the artist who needs paint and canvas, the musician who needs instruments and time to practice, the teacher who needs books, students, and a platform. Without resources, their gifts remain locked within. So it is with you. You are here to express your gifts, to grow your potential, and to bring forth beauty, but to do so, you must be free from want. Poverty makes this freedom almost impossible. It burdens the mind, it weakens the body, it dims the light of the soul. Therefore, the desire to rise above poverty is not selfish, it is sacred. You were not meant to suffer through life, always lacking, always sacrificing. You were meant to live in fullness, and in that fullness, to bless others. So ask yourself, is it more spiritual to struggle through life, or to flourish and uplift others? Is it noble to deny your potential, or to fulfill it and become a radiant example for others? Is it more virtuous to withhold your gifts, or to invest in yourself so deeply that you overflow? To desire wealth is to align with the natural purpose of life, growth, expression, and expansion. And the more you align with this purpose, the more the universe supports you. This is not about ego. This is not about vanity. It is about becoming the person you were born to be and having the means to do what you are meant to do. Now, imagine for a moment, what would your life look like if you were fully resourced? How would you live, love, work, and serve? What kind of peace would fill your heart, knowing you were not held back by lack? Take a breath and see it in your mind. This vision is not fantasy. It is a spiritual blueprint. It is what life desires for you and through you. And here is the greatest truth of all. You do not need to take from another in order to receive more for yourself. There is no shortage in the universe. There is only abundance without direction. When you learn to think and act in a certain way, you draw from the infinite. You create. You do not compete. You expand without taking away. This is the path of spiritual wealth, of divine success. It is available to you right now. Let your old beliefs fall away. Let guilt dissolve. Let hesitation fade. You were not born to shrink, you were born to shine. So let it be known here and now. You have the inalienable right to be rich. Not someday, not in theory, but now, in truth, because you are alive, and life itself is abundance. And now, let us begin the journey. Chapter 2. There is a science of getting rich. Let us now go deeper into understanding this profound truth. There is a science to getting rich. Just as there are exact laws that govern mathematics, just as there are principles behind electricity, biology, or astronomy, so too wealth, real, lasting, spiritual wealth, flows through law and order, not chance or chaos. We are often taught that riches come by luck, that some are simply blessed with good fortune, while others are not, that wealth belongs to those with special advantages, connections, talent, privilege, or cunning. But this is a misunderstanding of the deeper reality. Riches are not an accident. They are the result of a definite cause. And once you understand the cause and apply it consistently, you will receive the effect abundance. This is what we mean by science. Think of it this way. When you drop a stone, it falls. Always. Not sometimes, not maybe. Why? Because of the law of gravity. Likewise, when you plant a seed, water it, give it sunlight, and protect it, it grows. That's not magic. That's the law of life. Now consider this. Getting rich is governed by similar laws. Laws that are just as precise, just as consistent, just as universal. They do not care who you are, where you were born, or what mistakes you've made in the past. They respond to cause and effect, not status or opinion. Anyone, yes, anyone who learns and applies these laws with faith and persistence will grow rich. And anyone who violates these laws, even if they are talented, hardworking, or well-intentioned, will struggle. The science of getting rich is not a guess. It is not superstition. It is not vague philosophy. It is the alignment of thought, action, and purpose with the laws of abundance. And here is the heart of it all. There is a thinking substance, an intelligent energy, from which all things are made, and which in its original state permeates, penetrates, and fills the interspaces of the universe. This substance is everywhere. It is in the air you breathe. It is in the space between the stars. It flows through all life, all matter, all experience. It is creative. It is responsive. It forms into shape according to how it is impressed upon by thought. A thought, held, with purpose and faith impressed upon this formless substance, causes the thing imagined to be created. This is the first law of the science of getting rich. Everything you see, every building, every invention, every piece of art, every business, every fortune, began first in thought, not in physical form, but in the unseen. Wealth begins not in your bank account, but in your mind. If you can hold a clear and definite thought of abundance and align your actions with that thought, you begin to move that invisible substance into visible form. This is not metaphor. This is not a poetic idea. This is a real process, and just as real as the law of gravity. And just like gravity, it never fails. Now, some may say, but I have thoughts of wealth, and I am still poor. Yes, but not just any thought will do. This science requires more than wishful thinking. It requires that you think in a certain way, with clarity, with conviction, and with the faith of the law. You must impress your vision upon the formless substance with unwavering belief. As surely as a sculptor shapes clay with purposeful hands, half-hearted wishes do not move energy, but definite thought filled with life creates. And this thought must be followed by action, not frantic action, not scattered effort, but action in harmony with your purpose and in rhythm with your belief. So many try to act their way into wealth while thinking thoughts of fear, scarcity, and doubt. But this violates the law. The law does not respond to noise. It responds to alignment. To think in a certain way means to think from abundance, not toward it. You must live in the feeling of abundance now. You must speak, walk, and move as one who already possesses the wealth you seek. You are not a beggar asking for riches. You are a creator, aligning with the natural flow of life. Every time you picture your wealth with clarity, every time you hold it in your heart with certainty, every time you act upon it with faith, you are participating in the science of getting rich. Now let us address a misconception. This science is not about taking from others. We are not speaking of competition. We are not speaking of hoarding, exploiting, or grasping. The science of getting rich is not about pulling wealth away from someone else's table. It is about creating new tables. The universe is not limited. The formless substance from which all things are made is infinite. It does not run dry. It does not withhold. It simply responds to your thought. So there is no need to compete, only to create. Understand this deeply. There is a science to getting rich, and it is the same for every person, in every place, at every time. The laws are impartial. They do not favor the clever over the kind. They do not reward greed over grace. They reward understanding. They reward faithful action. They reward alignment. So if you wish to grow rich, do not waste time wondering if you are worthy. Do not waste time blaming fate or envying others. Instead, learn the law. Live by it. And you will, without fail, attract the riches your soul seeks. Let your heart be still in this truth. Getting rich is a science, and you are now a student of that science. Let us proceed. Chapter 3. Is opportunity monopolized? As you begin to absorb this new truth, that riches come by law, not luck, and a question may rise in your mind. But if getting rich is governed by science, why do so few succeed? Why does wealth seem concentrated in the hands of a few? Is opportunity monopolized? Let us explore this gently and thoroughly. Let us uncover what is real, not what is assumed. To the average person, it may appear that opportunity is limited, that only a select few get ahead while the rest must struggle. They look at the great fortunes of the world and see massive corporations, old money, insider circles, and they feel distant. They feel excluded. They feel that the game has already been played, and they were never even invited. But this is an illusion. The idea that opportunity is monopolized is a lie, a relic of fear and false teaching. The truth is this: there is more opportunity today than ever before. Look around you. Never in history has so much been possible to so many. You can start a business from your kitchen table. You can share your ideas with the world through a device in your hand. You can create art, sell products, teach, speak, build, heal, from anywhere. Technology, knowledge, and global connection have opened doors that never existed in centuries past. What once took millions of dollars and entire companies now takes vision, purpose, and the willingness to learn. So why do so many still believe that opportunity is monopolized? Because they are still thinking in the competitive mindset, not the creative mindset. They believe wealth is a pie, and the more someone else has, the less is left for them. They believe that if one person wins, another must lose. They believe in scarcity. But the science of getting rich is not built on competition. It is built on creation. Creation multiplies. Competition divides. In the competitive world, you fight for a slice. In the creative world, you bake a new pie. Understand this. The universe is made of formless, intelligent substance, and this substance is infinite. It responds not to your fear, but to your faith-filled vision. It does not run dry because someone else received wealth. It expands always as more people align with abundance. So no, opportunity is not monopolized. The gate is open, but you must walk through it in the right way. Now some will point to the systems of society, to corruption, to inequality, to injustice, and say, but don't these things block opportunity? Let us not deny that such conditions exist. Yes, the world has flaws. Yes, some environments make the path more difficult. Yes, there are real obstacles. But understand this deeper truth. No environment, no system, no injustice is more powerful than the laws of the universe. The formless substance does not care where you were born. It does not care what race, gender, or nationality you carry. It does not care if you come from wealth or from poverty. It responds to thought, to intention, to faith and aligned action. Those who tap into its power rise above circumstance. Again and again, history proves this. How many stories have you heard or lived of people who came from nothing, who faced discrimination, who had no special advantage, and yet they rose? They created wealth, not by stealing or scheming, but by thinking in a certain way. These are not exceptions. They are examples. You do not need to defeat the rich. You do not need to wait for the world to become fair. You do not need to wait at all. You only need to step into your creative power, and this is the beauty of the science of getting rich. It does not require that others fail. It does not require you to compete, plead, or push. It only requires you to think truthfully and act faithfully. Opportunity is not locked in vaults. It is not owned by governments or corporations. It flows through every moment, every idea, every breath, for those who see it. So ask yourself gently, am I looking at the world through eyes of scarcity? Or through eyes of expansion? Am I focused on what others have taken? Or on what I am ready to create? Am I living in envy? Or in vision? This is not a scolding. It is an invitation to shift from reaction to creation, to stop fearing the lack, and start working with the law. Now hear this clearly. If others grow rich while you remain poor, it is not because of their monopoly on opportunity. It is because they are acting in a certain way, and you are not yet, and that's the key word. Yet. The moment you begin to think differently, to align with the principles of creation, to believe in your own power to generate value and receive its reward, you step onto the path, and opportunity opens, not because someone hands it to you, but because you finally realize it was never closed. You were never shut out. You were simply looking in the wrong direction. There is room for you. There is space for your gifts. There is wealth waiting to be formed by your hands and your mind. The law is generous. The universe is abundant. And the formless substance is infinite. Opportunity is not monopolized. It is made visible through vision. And so we say again, anyone can become rich if they learn the laws, follow them faithfully, and think in a certain way. This is not a philosophy. This is not wishful thinking. This is science. Let us proceed. Chapter 4. The first principle in the science of getting rich. There is a truth so foundational, so quietly powerful, that once understood, it can shift the course of your life. It is the first principle in the science of getting rich, before strategy, before technique. before any action. You must know this. Thought is the only power that can produce tangible riches from the formless substance. Let us sit with that. All that you see in the world, every building, every invention, every piece of wealth, began as thought. Nothing ever comes into existence unless it is first imagined. And thought, when held with intention and purpose, becomes creative. It impresses itself upon the formless substance, that invisible, intelligent energy that fills the universe and causes the thing it pictures to come into existence. This is not fantasy. This is not mysticism. This is the natural order of creation. First comes thought, then comes manifestation. You may call this the law of attraction. You may call it divine creation. You may call it quantum vibration. But regardless of the name, the process is real, and it is constant. This is the first principle of wealth. You become rich by creating, not by competing. Let us pause on that word. Creating. To create means to bring something into being that did not exist before, at least not in visible form. When you imagine a business or a piece of art or a service that uplifts others, you are working in harmony with the creative power of the universe. But when you simply compete, when you fight for what already exists, when you seek to take or conquer, you cut yourself off from the flow of abundance. You place yourself in scarcity. You limit what is possible. So here's the shift. You must cease from all competitive thought completely, not partially, not occasionally, completely. You cannot get rich if you believe that someone else must lose for you to win. You cannot expand while resenting the success of others. You cannot tap into the creative forces of the universe while feeling jealous, angry, or defeated. Competition is based on fear. Creation is based on faith. And faith, unwavering, joyful, expectant faith, is the key to everything. Now you may be asking, what does this look like in real life? It means this. If you are in business, your aim is not to crush your rivals. Your aim is to deliver more value, to serve better, create more, give more. If you are looking for a job or opportunity, you do not try to undercut others. You focus instead on becoming the person who naturally attracts the opportunity through skill, energy, and presence. You stop worrying about what others are doing. You stop obsessing over what you don't have, and you place your full attention on what you can create. This is the first principle because it is the foundation of all others. Without it, your efforts will be scattered. With it, your efforts will multiply. Here's another truth. Every thought held in faith sends a signal into the formless substance. This signal shapes reality. It might not happen overnight. It might not be visible at first, but it is happening. The universe is responsive. It mirrors your most consistent mental state. So the question becomes, what are you thinking? Most of the time, are you thinking of lack, of fear, of limitation, or are you thinking of growth, of possibility, of contribution? The answer to that question reveals your future. You may ask, but if thought creates wealth, can I just sit and visualize money into my bank account? The answer is no. Thought alone is powerful, but thought combined with purposeful action is unstoppable. You are not meant to withdraw from life. You are meant to participate, to move, to express, to act in alignment with your vision. The formless substance responds to thought, but it moves through action. A seed, once planted, must be watered. Your thoughts are the seeds, your actions are the watering. The universe handles the growth. Now this first principle asks something of you. It asks that you trust, even before results appear. It asks that you believe, even when doubt arises. It asks that you persist, even when others do not understand, because the riches you desire do not come from other people. They do not come from banks, jobs, or trends. They come through people, but from the universe, and the universe responds to your thought. So begin to think in a certain way. A creative way. Let go of envy. Release comparison. Forget the illusion of competition. Think instead of what you are here to create. Picture it clearly. Feel it deeply. Hold it consistently. Then move, speak, and act as if it were already unfolding. Because it is. That is how wealth is built. Not by scheming, not by hoarding, but by creating in partnership with the unseen forces of life. This is the science. This is the principle. And this, once accepted, changes everything. Riches begin in thought. They grow through action. And they flourish in alignment. You have the power. You always did. Now use it. Chapter 5. Increasing life. If you could understand just one truth about wealth, a truth that will shape your every desire, decision, and direction, let it be this. Every person naturally wants to increase life. This desire is not wrong. It is not selfish. It is sacred. The desire for more life, more expression, more joy, more experience, is the divine impulse within you. It is the natural expansion of spirit. It is the same force that pushes the seed to grow into a tree. That urges the cub to become a lion. That causes stars to be born in galaxies beyond sight. And you too are an expression of that force. You were not made to shrink, to settle, to suffer. You were made to expand in wisdom, in wealth, in purpose, in presence. The desire for riches is simply the desire for a fuller, freer, more abundant expression of yourself. Let this idea settle in your heart. You are not wrong for wanting more. You are not greedy. You are not shallow. You are responding to the deepest law of life, the law of expansion. Now there's something vital to understand. Everything you do to get rich must add life to the world, not take it away. Not diminish others, not deplete or destroy, but add. If your actions lead to greater vitality for others, if your work uplifts, inspires, or empowers, if your wealth circulates into goodness, creativity, or service, then you are aligned with the source of all riches. Because wealth, in its truest sense, is not about money alone, it's about life. To be rich means to be more alive, to experience life fully and freely, and in order to be more alive, you must live more, not just for yourself, but through meaningful connection to others. So let's be clear. You get rich by causing others to receive more life through you. If you run a business, let your product or service be something that enhances life, something that gives people more energy, more clarity, more peace, more possibility. If you work a job, show up in a way that brings more life into the room, with enthusiasm, with diligence, with a spirit of service. If you are creating content, sharing your art, speaking your truth, let it be an offering that nourishes the hearts and minds of others. You don't need to fix the world. You only need to ask, how can I increase life today? Now here's a beautiful paradox. When you give more life, you receive more life. Not because of obligation, not because of some external reward, but because life flows through those who circulate it. Like a river that never stagnates, wealth moves through those who move it forward. This means something profound. Getting rich is not a game of taking. It is a practice of giving more value than you receive in cash, not by sacrifice, not by loss, but by creating something so useful, so beautiful, so aligned, that the world naturally gives back. Think about it this way. The sun doesn't shine in order to be paid. It shines because that is its nature, and in doing so, it gives life to everything. You too are meant to shine. Your gifts are meant to flow, and when they do, riches follow, not as a bribe, but as a byproduct of the life you increase. Now let us return to the formless substance, Nan, the intelligent energy of the universe. This substance is always seeking fuller expression of itself. It wants to be more, to know more, to become more. So, when you impress your thought upon it, with clarity, faith, and purpose, you are not asking it to give you something it resists. You are asking it to do what it already wants to do: expand, create, express. You are collaborating with life itself. Therefore, never be ashamed of your desire for wealth. Never let guilt or fear poison your intention. Instead, affirm boldly, I desire to be rich because I desire to live more and to give more. That is a worthy cause. That is a holy mission. And here's the final, critical insight of this chapter. The universe is not limited. There is not a fixed supply of riches. You do not take away from anyone by becoming rich. In fact, you bless others by modeling what is possible. Your abundance uplifts the collective. Your wealth is not a theft. It is a gift in motion. Imagine a musician who plays their heart out and in doing so inspires thousands. Imagine a healer who becomes wealthy by helping people find peace. Imagine an inventor who brings joy and ease to others and is paid handsomely for it. Each one increases life. Each one receives abundance. Each one is a part of the sacred flow. That can be you. Not someday. Not when you're ready. But now. Today you begin. You let go of the idea that getting rich is selfish. You let go of the belief that poverty is holy. You embrace the truth that wealth is life expanding through you. So ask yourself gently, how can I give more life through what I do? How can I serve without shrinking? How can I rise and bring others with me? You do not need to have all the answers today. You only need to hold the intention, to begin moving, to trust the process, because the science of getting rich is not a hustle, it is a harmony. You were made for more, and by seeking more, joyfully, creatively, and purposefully, you step into the very current of creation. You are not taking. You are increasing, and that is the highest form of life. Chapter 6. How riches come to you. That you understand the desire for wealth is not only natural but divine, a calling to expand life for yourself and others, we move to a question that burns in the hearts of many. How exactly do riches come to you? What mechanism, what unseen current delivers prosperity to your doorstep? Many people imagine that wealth comes from luck, inheritance, privilege, or perfect timing. Others believe it results from ruthless ambition or never-ending labor. But the truth is far more empowering and far more spiritual. Riches come to you by the operation of a precise law, a law as real, reliable, and exact as gravity. Let this settle in your mind. You are not chasing wealth. You are not begging for abundance. You are aligning with a universal principle, and when you do, wealth must come, just as a seed, planted in good soil, watered and warmed by sunlight, must grow. So must your thought, properly formed and faithfully held, produce riches in your life. Here is the process, step by step. You form a clear mental image of what you desire, not a vague hope, not a half-hearted wish, but a definite, detailed picture. You must see it, feel it, know it. You must walk around in your desire as if it already exists. If you want a beautiful home, imagine its structure, colors, views, the feel of your feet on the floor, the sunlight streaming in. If you want a thriving business, picture your satisfied clients, the balance in your accounts, the flow of creativity and opportunity. This image becomes the mold in which formless substance will shape itself. Do not underestimate this step. Clarity is creation. Vague thoughts produce vague results. Precise thoughts and inconsistently held produce tangible realities. You impress this thought continually upon the formless substance. How? By thinking it over and over with faith and purpose. Every thought you think is a vibration you send into the universe. But not all thoughts are equal. A thought with purpose carries strength. A thought with faith is unstoppable. Imagine your thought as a beam of focused light. The clearer and more concentrated it is, the more powerfully it cuts through resistance. You do not need to beg, you do not need to plead. You only need to impress your thought with calm, unwavering certainty. This is not about frantic visualization or forcing outcomes. It is about living in the mental reality of your desire until it becomes your emotional home. When you live in the feeling of your goal, the universe begins to move, orchestrating conditions, people, and events to match your vision. It may not come how you expect. It may arrive through unexpected channels, but it will come. Why? Because that is the law. You act in harmony with your thought. This is where many people stumble. They form the thought, they speak the affirmations, but they do not act in alignment with their vision. Action is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. You must move, not desperately, but intentionally. You must take steps that reflect your belief in the coming of riches. This doesn't mean working harder than ever. It means working smarter, doing what is in front of you to do with excellence, joy, and expectancy. If you are given a small task, do it as if it were great. If you meet someone new, speak as if they may open a door. If you feel prompted to explore an idea, follow it. Every action you take becomes a signal to the universe. I am ready, I believe, I receive. And the universe responds. Now here's a powerful truth to remember. Riches do not come by chance or competition. They come by creative growth. You do not need to take from anyone else. You do not need to fear a shortage. The formless substance from which all things come is infinite, and it responds not to greed but to creative intention. You can become rich without causing anyone to lose. In fact, the truer your wealth, the more others benefit. And this brings us to a vital principle. You must give every person more in use value than you take from them in cash value. This is not charity. This is commerce at its highest level. When someone pays you, whether for a product, a service, or an idea, make sure they walk away with more than they gave. If you sell a book, let the wisdom in it transform their thinking. If you offer a service, let them feel elevated by your care. If you run a business, make your customer feel seen, heard, valued. In doing so, you create a spiritual magnet for wealth. You become not just a receiver, but a conduit, a channel through which life flows more abundantly, and life rewards those who multiply it. Let's recap the law. Form a clear picture of what you desire. Hold it with unwavering faith and purpose. Act daily in alignment with your vision. Give more in use than you take in cash. Trust the process and expect results. You are not at the mercy of circumstance. You are not a victim of the economy, or upbringing, or limitation. You are a creator, by law. And every time you align your thoughts, feelings, and actions with increase, you are drawing riches toward you like a magnet draws iron. You may not see it all at once. You may not feel it every day. But beneath the surface, the current is flowing. The right people are moving toward you. The right opportunities are preparing for you. The right doors are waiting to open. Your only job? Stay in the vision. Stay in the feeling. Stay in the flow. Wealth is not a distant dream. It is your divine inheritance, ready to be claimed by thought, sustained by belief, and received through action. You are not asking for something unnatural. You are calling forth what is already yours, and in doing so, you bless the world. Chapter 7. Gratitude. The hidden power of wealth. If thought is the blueprint and faith the builder, then gratitude is the power that fuels the entire process of getting rich. It may sound simple, perhaps even sentimental, but understand this. Nothing accelerates manifestation faster than a grateful heart. Gratitude is not merely polite thankfulness. It is not a passive emotion. It is a dynamic, magnetic force that aligns your mind with abundance. Let's break it down. You are thinking substance. You live in a world where your thoughts shape reality. When you impress your desires upon the formless intelligence, when you create a clear mental picture of the wealth you seek, you are placing an order with the universe. But if your energy is mixed with fear, doubt, or resentment, your signal is scattered. The transmission weakens. Now here's the key. Gratitude purifies your mental atmosphere. It aligns your vibration with the receiving mode. When you are grateful, you are saying, I trust life. I believe what I desire is already on the way. I honor what I have and I welcome what is coming. That attitude, that emotional frequency, places you on the same wavelength as the very things you want. Let's go deeper. Gratitude focuses the mind on increase. The universe is a system built on expansion. Nature grows, life multiplies. Stars explode into galaxies, seeds become forests, thoughts become realities. Wherever there is growth, there is life, and wherever there is gratitude, there is growth. When you express gratitude for what you already have, you are affirming, there is more where this came from. This belief turns on a spiritual faucet. Imagine two people. One wakes up and complains about lack, debt, pressure, and problems. The other wakes up and gives thanks for their body, their opportunities, their goals, their breath. Who do you think is more aligned with the flow of abundance? The second person has activated the law of increase. They are broadcasting a signal of trust, and trust is a currency in the spiritual realm. The more gratitude you feel, the more you attract to be grateful for. Gratitude eradicates fear and doubt. It's easy to get discouraged. Maybe you've held the vision, you've acted on your dream, you've stayed consistent, but the results haven't arrived yet. This is when doubt creeps in. But doubt is a mental poison. It neutralizes the faith you've built. So how do you destroy doubt with gratitude? Gratitude is the antidote to uncertainty. Instead of saying, where is my success? You say, thank you for the progress I can't yet see. Thank you that everything is working together for my good. Thank you that my goal is already mine in the unseen. This mental state sends a clear message to the universe. I am ready. Gratitude says, I believe it's coming, even before there's any physical proof. And that belief, that inner knowing, pulls the future into the now. Gratitude keeps you in harmony with the source, the formless intelligence, whether you call it God, source, infinite mind, or universal law is always working. It is always moving toward increase, always expanding into more life. When you're in a state of gratitude, you are in tune with that source. Your heart and mind resonate with the creative spirit of the universe. You're no longer resisting, forcing, or manipulating. You're allowing. Gratitude is not just a mindset. It's a spiritual alignment. It's the fastest way to tune into the infinite stream of supply, wisdom, and opportunity that surrounds you. Always. Now let's talk about a practical habit. The daily gratitude. Practice. Here's how to use this power every single day. Each morning, list 5 things you're grateful for, real or imagined. Be sincere. They can be big or small. Your health, a kind word, sunlight, a new client, a goal you're claiming. Each evening, reflect on what went well and give thanks. Even if the day was hard, find something, a lesson, a moment of clarity, a spark of hope. When you visualize your future, say thank you for it now. Don't wait until it appears. Bless it before it arrives. This practice is simple, but do not confuse simplicity with weakness. This is one of the most potent habits you can develop. It rewires your brain. It opens your heart. It magnetizes your results. Gratitude attracts right people and right circumstances. When you live in gratitude, people feel it. Your energy changes. Your tone of voice shifts. You become warmer, more magnetic, more trustworthy. And guess what? Opportunities are drawn to grateful people. Mentors are drawn to grateful learners. Customers are drawn to grateful creators. Why? Because gratitude is rooted in abundance, not neediness. And abundance is attractive. You no longer feel desperate or entitled. You move through life with dignity, peace, and joy. That energy attracts the very results you used to chase. Gratitude is your insurance policy, even when things seem slow, even when results delay, even when doors close. Gratitude keeps your vibration high. It protects your faith. It shields your mind. It anchors you in expectancy. Think of gratitude as your spiritual insurance, keeping you connected to the current of wealth no matter the weather. When you're grateful, you're never truly losing. You're always gaining wisdom, patience, or a redirection towards something even better. Final words on gratitude: never let a day pass without giving thanks, not just for what you have, but for what is coming. Thank you that my vision is manifesting now. Thank you for unseen forces arranging my success. Thank you for the abundance that flows through me. Speak it. Feel it. Live it. Gratitude is the language of wealth. It is the silent prayer of prosperity. It is the invisible thread that ties you to your dream. So hold your vision, take right action, stay in faith, and above all, give thanks, now and always. Because the more grateful you are, the richer you become, inside and out. Chapter 8. Thinking in a certain way, you've learned the basics. Desire is your compass. Faith is your engine. Gratitude is your fuel. Now comes the master key. Thinking in a certain way. This is not just about positive thinking or wishful dreaming. It's about aligning your thoughts with precision so that your inner world becomes a magnet for the outer wealth you seek. Let's be clear, you can't get rich by doing random things haphazardly, nor can you succeed by simply working harder or faster than others. You get rich by doing things in a certain way, and before you do things in that way, you must first think in that way. Everything begins with the way you think. Thought is the first cause. Everything in the universe is first created mentally. The chair you're sitting on was once an idea. The building you're in was once a blueprint. The device you're listening to this on, once just a thought in someone's mind. Your wealth, too, must begin as a clear, definite thought. You must hold a mental image of the riches you desire, not vaguely, not someday, but vividly, right now, not just once, but habitually. What you think about persistently, you attract. Your dominant mental pattern becomes your life pattern. If you're constantly thinking about scarcity, fear, what you lack, or how hard life is, then your mind is aligning with lack, and the formless substance responds by giving you more of the same. But when you think in terms of abundance, opportunity, gratitude, and expansion, you begin to attract ideas, people, and circumstances that align with wealth. The universe doesn't reward effort alone, it responds to the quality of your thinking. Clarity of vision is essential. Here's a rule that cannot be ignored. You must have a clear mental picture of what you want. You must see it so often and so vividly that it becomes real to you long before it arrives. If you want a house, picture the rooms. If you want a successful business, see the clients. If you want freedom, feel the lifestyle in your bones. This is more than imagination. It is the beginning of creation. Your mind is impressing a mold upon the formless intelligence. The clearer and more consistent the mold, the faster the manifestation. Don't just wish or hope. Build your image with intention. Spend time daily, in silence, seeing, believing, and emotionally experiencing the life you're building. You're not pretending, you're pre-living. Think from, not of. This is subtle but powerful. Many people think of the life they want as if it's far away. They dream about it, talk about it, but deep down don't feel it as theirs. But the secret is to think from the life you want. That means you walk like someone who already has it. You speak like someone who owns it. You make decisions as if your wealth is already here. You must become mentally and emotionally congruent with your vision. If you desire wealth, but think like someone in lack, you block the very abundance you seek. So how does a wealthy thinker act? They focus on solutions, not problems. They see investments, not expenses. They think opportunity, not limitation. This mindset is magnetic. It's what sets the wealthy apart. No competition, only creation. In this certain way of thinking, you must release the belief in competition. There is no shortage of wealth. You are not taking from someone else to gain your share. Instead, you are creating from infinite supply. When you understand that abundance is spiritual and unlimited, you stop competing and start creating. You don't have to fight for a seat at the table. You can build your own table. This is liberating. You stop resenting others' success. You stop fearing loss. You stop comparing. You begin to operate with calm confidence, knowing what is mine is already on its way. Guard your mind. Ruthlessly, the biggest enemy of this process is drift. You will be tempted, every day, to think thoughts of worry, fear, doubt, envy, and negativity. That's the mental gravity of the world. You must become vigilant. Monitor your self-talk. Interrupt limiting patterns. Replace fear with faith. Every thought matters. You are either reinforcing your vision or weakening it. You are either thinking like the rich or thinking like the poor, and it's your choice. Thinking must lead to action. Now understand this. Thinking alone is not enough. You must act, but act in faith, not in fear. You don't need to know every step ahead. Just act on the opportunities in front of you. Do your current work, whatever it is, with excellence. Treat your now as sacred. That's what it means to act in a certain way, with purpose, with integrity, with faith that each step leads to the next. You don't chase results. You expect them. An expectation is a form of thought, one that moves the invisible into form. The formula for thinking in a certain way. Let's simplify the entire method. Form a clear and definite picture of what you want. Hold it daily, consistently, vividly. Maintain unwavering faith that it is coming to you, no matter the delays or detours. Feel gratitude every step of the way. Before it comes, as if it's already here. Think from abundance, not lack. Choose thoughts that match your desired reality. Reject fear and competition. Know that the supply is infinite and your success harms no one. Take aligned action. Every day, do what you can, where you are, with what you have. Repeat. This is the certain way. It's not magic, but it is miraculous. Because when you think in this way, you place yourself in harmony with the creative intelligence of the universe. You stop swimming upstream. You stop struggling. You start flowing, and life responds. Doors open. People appear. Ideas land. Wealth, not just money, but peace, purpose, and prosperity, begins to shape around your life like a tailor-made suit. Why? Because you thought it so. Chapter 9. How to use the will. You've heard this before. Where there's a will, there's a way. But in the science of getting rich, that phrase takes on a deeper meaning. It's not about bending the world to your ego. It's about directing your will in harmony with universal law. The will is not a force to control others. It's a force to control yourself, your thoughts, your attention, your faith. Let's break it down. The will is the power of focus. Your mind is constantly pulled in different directions. Notifications, distractions, other people's drama. Fearful news, doubts whispering from your past. But the will is your spiritual laser. It cuts through noise. It says, no, I will not think that. It says, yes, I choose to hold my vision. This isn't about force. It's about persistence. Your will gives you the power to keep your mind on track even when everything around you screams otherwise. Imagine holding a mental picture of your ideal life. Wealth, freedom, purpose. Then distractions arrive. Bills, setbacks, critics. If you don't use your will, your mind will drift. You'll begin thinking about failure. You'll lower your expectations. You'll start asking, what if it doesn't work? But the trained will says, it is working, I will stay in alignment. This mental control is rare. It's why so few people become truly rich. Don't use your will on others. One of the most critical truths in this entire philosophy is this. Never try to use your willpower to control others. Don't try to manipulate, dominate, or pressure people into helping you get rich. That's the path of fear, not faith. Trying to use your will against others puts you in competition, not creation. It disconnects you from the formless substance, the source of all wealth, and ties you to human resistance. Remember, you don't need to take anything from anyone. You don't need to change anyone's behavior for your success. You don't need to convince or win over the world. All you need to do is direct your own thoughts, own focus, and own emotions in the direction of your desire. You're not here to overpower others. You're here to align with power itself. Use your will to hold the vision. You must understand, the formless substance responds to sustained thought, not a passing wish, not a fleeting fantasy, but thought that is held with consistency and emotional energy. This is where willpower comes in. Anyone can dream for a few minutes. Anyone can get inspired after reading a book or watching a video. But can you hold the vision when nothing around you validates it yet? That's the test. Can you see wealth while surrounded by debt? Feel freedom while stuck in a job you dislike? Believe in abundance while your bank account is empty? This is what separates the few who create wealth from the many who only wish for it. You must hold to your vision like it's oxygen. No matter what's happening around you, your inner world must stay steady. You're not being delusional. You're being deliberate. This inner stability is what reshapes your external reality. Willpower builds mental muscle. Think of your will like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Start small. Can you keep your mind on gratitude for 60 seconds without drifting? Can you reject a negative thought the moment it arises? Can you wake up and immediately visualize your goals for 5 minutes? Each time you choose intentional thought over reaction, you strengthen your mental command center. The stronger your will, the quicker your results. Why? Because wealth doesn't flow to chaos. It flows to clarity, consistency, and coherence. Your job is to become a focused channel. The law works through you now. Here's a truth that will shift your entire perspective. You are not making things happen. You are aligning yourself so the universe can make them happen through you. Your will isn't about hustle or strain. It's about getting yourself into mental harmony with abundance, and when that harmony is present, ideas come, people show up, opportunities appear, not by force, by flow. Your will doesn't create results directly. It creates the mental conditions that lead to results. It's like tuning a radio. Once you're on the right frequency, you receive the signal clearly. Willpower protects your mind. You live in a world of noise. Every day you'll be bombarded with doubts from others, negative headlines, reality checks from people who gave up on their dreams. If you're not careful, these vibrations will influence your thinking. That's why you must guard your mind like royalty guards a throne. Use your will to turn off the noise. Detach from toxic influences. Say no to conversations rooted in fear or gossip. Say yes to silence, vision, and elevation. Protect your inner world, because it's where your outer world is being built. Summary. The sacred use of will. Let's summarize the sacred function of your willpower. Direct it only at yourself, never at others. Use it to hold your vision, especially when reality contradicts it. Train it through daily practice. Small wins lead to big strength. Don't force outcomes. Align your mind and trust the flow. Guard your mind. Don't let fear rent space in your imagination. Stay connected to source. Let the universe work through your clarity. You don't need to manipulate life and just align with it. You don't need to dominate the world, just direct your thoughts. You don't need to chase, just hold your vision and move in faith. The will is not a weapon. It is a light, a guide, a stabilizer, and when you use it in this certain way, you become unstoppable. Chapter 10. Further use of the willin. The last chapter, we discovered how willpower is not a tool to dominate others, but a force to master ourselves. But Wallace D. Wattles takes us deeper now. He shows us how to extend that mastery and activate true creative power. Let's go beyond basic mental control. Let's discover the advanced application of your will. Holding the picture in spite of appearances. This is where most people get lost. They start the journey with high hopes. They visualize their goals. They write affirmations, say their prayers, repeat their mantras. But then, life happens. The rent is due. The job is still unfulfilling. Clients say no. The bank account shrinks. And what do most people do? They abandon the picture. They stop believing. They shrink their dreams to fit their reality. But this is where the real work begins. The true use of the will is to hold the mental image steady, especially when the physical world shows the opposite. This is faith in motion. It's not hope. It's not fantasy. It's not blind optimism. It is a decision to align with truth, not appearances. Appearances are temporary. You must understand this if you want to create lasting wealth. Circumstances are not final. They are simply the residue of old thoughts. If your current environment is full of lack or limitation, it is not a punishment. It is just a reflection of past thinking. But here's the good news. Your current thinking is shaping your future. So, the mental picture you hold today, if backed by will and faith, will override the patterns of the past. Even if right now you are broke, alone, unrecognized, discouraged, you can still plant the seed of a new result, but only if you do this. Refuse to believe in appearances. That doesn't mean ignore reality. It means you don't let it define your destiny. You look at your current results and say, "This is temporary. My thought is eternal." Career. The will is a stabilizer. Think of your will as an anchor in a storm. When emotions crash, when fear rises, when people around you panic, your will anchors you to the vision. It says, "I don't care what happens. I know what I'm becoming." This creates an invisible energy field around you. People feel it. Opportunities sense it. The universe responds to it. Because you are no longer scattered. You are focused. You are certain. You are creative. This is how people manifest results seemingly out of nowhere. They held the vision longer than others were willing to. They trained their will to override noise. Act in faith, not anxiety. Now comes the key transition. Holding the vision is only half the game. You must also act with faith, not desperate hustle, not forced activity, but action inspired by belief. When you hold the image of what you want and act every day in alignment with that image, you collapse time. You meet the right person by accident. You get the offer you weren't expecting. You have an idea that changes everything. This isn't magic. It's law. The universe responds not to vague wishes, but to clear decisions and aligned action. Fear is a distraction, not a signal Waddles is clear. When fear arises, it is not a sign you should stop. It is a test of your will. Fear only shows up when you start breaking old mental patterns. It says, "You've never made that much money before. Who do you think you are? You'll fail like last time." And this is where most people quit. But not you. You now understand. Fear is not fact. Fear is friction between who you were and who you're becoming. Your will must reject fear as an authority. It may speak, but you don't have to obey. Say to it, "Thank you for your opinion, but I have a vision to follow." That's the mindset of a creator. Create a mental atmosphere of certainty. If your life is a garden, your thoughts are the climate. You must cultivate an atmosphere of certainty, joyful expectation, unshakable belief. This mental atmosphere must dominate everything, especially your emotions. When you feel as if the thing you desire is already real, you bring it closer. Your will helps you stay in that emotional frequency, even when evidence is missing. Remember, energy flows where attention goes, and attention is guided by your will. Hold your attention on what is wanted. Withdraw it from what is unwanted. That is mastery. Others will start to mirror your belief. As you keep your inner world stable, you'll notice something strange. People will begin to believe in you, Not because you convinced them, not because you sold them anything, but because your certainty is magnetic. It's not about ego. It's about energy. People feel when you are walking in your vision. They trust you more. They open doors for you. They offer help, not out of pity, but out of alignment, because your belief has now created momentum in the unseen. Summary: the advanced use of the will. Let's review the deeper use of your willpower. Hold the vision despite appearances. Appearances are temporary. Truth is eternal. Use the will to anchor your emotional state. Don't let fear or doubt hijack your vibration. Take action in faith. Even small actions carry massive power when done from belief. Dismiss fear. It's not your guide. Your vision is. Create a field of certainty around your life. Let that be the climate in which you think, feel, and act. Let your belief do the talking. Others will be drawn to your energy, not your words. You're not here to be controlled by circumstance. You're here to be a creative force, steady, sure, magnetic. And that's exactly what the proper use of the will gives you. So don't use your will to argue with the world. Use it to hold your image of wealth like a lighthouse. Use it to act with quiet power and calm knowing. Use it to walk in the direction of your dream before anyone else believes it's possible. Because once you do, the universe won't have a choice. It must catch up to your conviction. Chapter 11. Acting in the certain way. So far, you've learned that thinking in a certain way is essential, forming a clear mental image of what you desire and holding on to it with unwavering faith. But now we arrive at the turning point, because no amount of thinking will create wealth without this key step. Action, but not just any action. This chapter is about learning to act in the certain way, the unique way that guarantees results. This is where most people go wrong. They either act randomly without thought, or they overthink endlessly and never move. But Wattles reveals the golden truth. When thought and action combine, creation is inevitable. Thought plus faith, blueprint. But action, building, think of your dream like a magnificent building. Thought lays the blueprint, faith gives it strength, but action builds the structure. Until you act, your idea is like an unbuilt home, beautiful in imagination but invisible in the world. Wattles says plainly, by thought, the thing you want is brought to you. By action, you receive it. That means wealth is not something you chase, it's something you align with and receive. And receiving only happens through action, but not frantic action. Not desperation, the right kind of action. What is the certain way? It's not a mysterious secret. Acting in the certain way means acting now, acting with purpose, acting with full faith, acting as if you are already successful. This is different from acting out of fear or survival. Most people act from pressure. They work a job they hate to avoid being broke. They hustle day and night, but deep down they feel unworthy. They're busy, but not effective. But the person who acts in the certain way has a different energy. They act like they already belong to the world they're building. Even if no one sees the result yet, they show up as someone who is already rich. In thought, in speech, in intention. This is the energy that magnetizes success. You must begin. Where you are. Here's where some people sabotage their own growth. They say, I'll start once I have more money. I need better tools first. Once I get a better job, then I'll take this seriously. But Wattles says, you don't need to wait for the perfect conditions. Start where you are, with what you have, and do all that you can do today. Even if your opportunities seem small or limited, even if your current job feels beneath your potential, you must act fully, faithfully, and efficiently right now, because the universe responds to movement. When you do all you can in your current situation, you trigger the law of increase. New doors will open. Better positions will appear. People will begin to notice. But it all starts with this principle. Do today's work in the best possible way, no matter how small it seems. Four, don't wait. Act now. Another common trap? Waiting. Waiting for inspiration, waiting for a better mood, waiting for approval. Wattles warns, do not wait for a change of environment before you act, because action, right action taken, with faith, actually changes your environment. Your current situation is not a prison, it is a portal. Act with excellence today, and your outer world will rearrange itself in response. Waiting sends a message to the universe. I'm not ready. But action says, I am becoming. 5. Every act holds power. When done in faith, even the smallest actions carry power. When done with intention, that means every email you send, every phone call you make, every step you take toward your goal, if done with clarity, purpose, and belief, it moves the needle. So don't look for some giant magical step. Instead, put greatness into every small task. Act as if your success depends on how you perform this one moment, because it does. Success doesn't come from one lucky break. It comes from a million small moments done with extraordinary energy. Acting in faith dissolves doubt. Why do most people stay stuck? Because they let doubt win. They think too much. They second guess. They question their abilities. But action dissolves doubt. You cannot think your way out of fear, but you can act your way into courage. Every time you take a step toward your vision, even a shaky step, your faith grows stronger. You begin to prove to yourself, I can do this. Confidence isn't something you need before you begin. It's something you build through motion. Acting in the certain way turns you into a different person, not one day. Today. The law of more life. Everything in nature seeks expression. The flower grows, the seed breaks its shell, the child learns to walk. This is the law of more life, the desire to expand. Wattles says, every act can be made strong by holding the vision while you act and putting the full faith that you are getting rich into it. So don't just do tasks, infuse them with vision. If you're washing dishes, imagine you're preparing for the home you've dreamed of. If you're making sales calls, imagine each one leads to your business breakthrough. The action doesn't matter. It's the energy behind it that counts. Live today with the feeling of your future, and the future will rush to meet you. Summary: mastering the certain way. Let's recap the power of acting in the certain way. Thought is creative, but action receives. Without action, even the clearest image stays unrealized. Begin exactly where you are. There is no perfect moment. This is it. Act with faith and intention. Even small acts become magnetic when done in belief. Do not wait. Act now. The universe only moves when you do. Put greatness into every action. Elevate the ordinary with energy and excellence. Let action build your confidence. Don't wait to feel ready and act, and you'll become ready. Live as if you are already the person you want to be. That version of you is shaped in each moment you choose power over passivity. You are not hoping for wealth. You are claiming it, with every move, every step, every breath. This is the certain way. It's not luck, it's not magic, it's law, and when you combine powerful thought with certain action, wealth will become not just possible, but inevitable. Chapter 12. Efficient action. Up to this point, we've learned that thinking and acting in the certain way are both critical to achieving wealth. But there's a final layer to the formula that amplifies your power even more. Efficiency. To succeed, it's not enough to just act. You must act efficiently. Let that word settle in for a moment. Not frantically, not endlessly, but efficiently, meaning with purpose, power, and precision. You see, the world is full of busy people, people working from dawn to dusk, hustling, pushing, grinding, yet many of them remain broke, frustrated, or stuck. Why? Because activity does not equal progress, and being busy is not the same as being effective. This is where the secret of efficient action becomes your competitive advantage. Every act can be made. Strong Waddles makes it clear. You must use your thought and faith in all your actions, and you must act now. But here's the twist. It's not about doing more, but doing what you do with more focus. Efficiency is not about being faster. It's about being present. Every act you do today, however small, can be made powerful by doing it, intentionally without distraction, with belief that it moves you closer to wealth. It's not the size of the task. It's the energy behind it. That means you could send an email or sweep a floor, and if you do it with full presence and belief, it becomes an efficient act of creation. This is why many people with less talent still outperform those with more. They are efficient. In their efforts, they don't scatter their energy, they channel it, too. Doing each day's work successfully, there's a golden principle in this chapter that changes everything. You can advance only by being larger than your present place. Think about that. You don't get promoted by merely filling your role. You get promoted by outgrowing it. You rise in life by being bigger than your current circumstances. That means doing your daily work better than it's required, with more energy, more creativity, and more care than others expect. But this doesn't mean exhausting yourself. It means doing each task with full attention, high standards, and unwavering faith that you're building something greater. So ask yourself daily, am I doing this with excellence? Am I just completing it, or am I elevating it? The one who does ordinary things in an extraordinary way can never remain unnoticed. Do not overwork or rush now. Here's a warning. Waddles strongly advises against working excessively or rushing through your tasks. There is never any hurry on the creative plane. Hurry is the sign of fear. Fear that you're running out of time, that someone else will beat you, or that opportunities are scarce. But if you truly believe in abundance, that the universe is rich and supportive, then there's no need to panic. The efficient person doesn't rush. They move steadily, confidently, deliberately. They know the right ideas come at the right time. The right people arrive when they're needed. Their only job is to do today's work in the best way, not the fastest. So take a breath. Slow down your mind. Move forward like you are being pulled by your vision, not pushed by fear. Trust the process. Efficient action also requires trust. You're planting seeds each day with your thoughts and efforts. But seeds don't grow by being dug up every few hours. You have to plant them, water them. Let the sunlight do its job. That means you must continue your daily actions without anxiety over the outcome. Let go of the desperate need to control when results appear. Trust that your faith-filled action today will bear fruit. Worry, doubt, and impatience interfere with the process. But calm, efficient action? That's fertile ground. You are always advancing. The beauty of this method is that progress becomes inevitable. Even if the outer world seems unchanged, even if your bank account hasn't caught up yet, even if others don't notice your growth, as long as you're acting efficiently, with faith and precision, you are advancing. Waddles says every act is either in line with the creative or the competitive. Efficient action belongs to the creative. So if you stay rooted in belief, focused on service, and present in each task, you are building wealth, even if the physical evidence is still invisible. That's the power of efficient action. Stay in the creative, not the competitive. This chapter also reminds us to stay aligned with creative forces, not competitive ones. You don't need to fight others for scraps. You don't need to copy someone else's journey. You don't need to chase, rush, or beg. When you act efficiently, you become a creator, not a competitor. And creation is always superior to competition. So focus on adding value, not winning battles. Focus on becoming more, not just doing more. Toya. Universe always rewards expansion. How to practice efficient action. Today. Here's how to start right now. Today. Identify the most important task you can do today for your dream. Bring your full attention to that task. Do it without rush, but with power and purpose. Finish it completely and with excellence. Trust that it is leading you forward, even if no one sees it yet. Then repeat the same process tomorrow. Day by day, this turns your life into a magnet for success. Final thoughts. The elegant power of efficiency. This world of noise and busyness, efficient action is a superpower. It separates the dreamers from the achievers. It turns effort into results. It transforms ordinary lives into extraordinary ones. So don't confuse motion with momentum. Do less, but do it better. Act calmly, act faithfully, act efficiently, and know this. Every time you act in the certain way, with precision and belief, you move closer to the life you desire. This isn't theory, it's law, and you are now mastering it, one efficient act at a time. Chapter 13. Getting into the right business. In the journey of wealth creation, a common question arises. Am I even in the right business? It's an important question, and one that many people get stuck on. But Wallace D. Wattles offers a powerful perspective here, one that removes fear, doubt, and confusion. One that assures you, you can get rich in any business so long as you do things in the certain way. Let's dive deeper into that. The business doesn't make you rich. You do, most people believe. Their wealth depends on picking the perfect industry. Tech, real estate, crypto, stocks, e-commerce. They jump from one opportunity to another, looking for the next big thing. But Wattles is clear. The business itself is not the cause of riches. It's how you operate within that business that matters. If you believe only certain businesses can make you wealthy, you hand over your power to the external world. But the truth is, you carry the power within you. Think about it. Some people get rich selling socks. Others become wealthy from writing books. Some build empires cleaning homes. Others build fortune selling hot dogs from a cart. The common factor is never the industry. It's the mindset, the clarity, the purpose, the faith, the efficient action. That's the certain way. Follow your natural talents and preferences. While wealth is possible in any field, Wattles also gives you a key to unlock greater ease. Choose the business, profession, or industry that best aligns with your innate abilities and natural inclinations. You're not here to become someone you're not. You're here to become the most powerful, focused version of yourself. Ask yourself, what do I enjoy doing? What comes naturally to me? What skills or gifts do I already have? What kind of work feels satisfying even when it's hard? This doesn't mean the path will be easy, but it does mean your energy will align more effortlessly when you pursue a field that resonates with you. This alignment allows you to perform more efficiently. And remember, efficiency is a core pillar of wealth. Don't wait. Start where? You are another powerful insight from Wattles. You don't need to change your business to begin creating wealth. In fact, the idea that you must wait for the right business is a form of procrastination. You can start right now, right where you are, by doing your current work in the certain way. Whether you're a teacher, artist, delivery driver, accountant, cleaner, student, or employee, your wealth begins with how you think and act, not with where you work. Yes, over time, you may shift to a new field that aligns better with your gifts. But don't wait for that shift to begin the work. Your current situation is the perfect soil to start planting seeds of abundance. Plant them today. Faith in yourself and in the system. Whatever business you're in, you must believe two things. You have the power to succeed in it. The universe supports your success in it. Wattles emphasizes, no man can rise to prominence in any calling who cannot believe he can rise in that calling. In simpler words, if you doubt your path, it will work against you. If you believe in your path, it will support you. It doesn't matter how competitive the field is. What matters is your faith and your ability to create value. You are not subject to market conditions, not when you operate from creative power. There are no limitations when you act in the certain way. So drop the idea that the market is too saturated. Drop the fear that it's too late. Drop the belief that only lucky people succeed. Those are competitive beliefs, not creative ones, and creative power always triumphs. It's never too late to transition. Yes, you can start where you are, but what if you're truly miserable in your current work? What if it drains your energy, suppresses your spirit, or misaligns with your values? Then it's time to start the process of transitioning with wisdom and faith. Wattles doesn't suggest you abandon your current path overnight. Instead, begin to act efficiently in your current job. Begin to study, plan, and prepare for the transition. Begin to visualize yourself in your ideal work, living and thriving in it. This visualization is not idle daydreaming. It is the blueprint for your future reality. The creative process responds to clarity. When your vision is strong and your action consistent, the universe reshapes your circumstances. You'll be guided, step by step, into your new field. The world needs what you can offer. No matter the business or calling, always remember, there is a place for you. There is demand for what only you can uniquely provide. Wattles writes, there is abundance of opportunity for the man who will go with the tide instead of trying to swim against it. What does this mean? It means don't resist your calling. Don't reject your gifts. Don't copy someone else's path. Don't force yourself into molds that don't fit. The tide is your nature, your passion, your ability. Swim with it, and you'll find opportunities, ease, and fulfillment. Trying to be something you're not is exhausting, but embracing who you are, that's powerful. So lean into your uniqueness, because wealth doesn't come from imitation, it comes from authenticity applied with intelligence. Final thoughts. The right business is the one you do right. So what's the right business? It's the one you can do in the certain way, with clarity of purpose, with focused, efficient action, with deep belief in abundance, with service and value at the center, and with joy in your spirit. Whether you're an artist or accountant, builder, or baker, writer, or real estate agent, you can create wealth. Not because the business is perfect, but because you are intentional, faithful, and creative within it. The right business, then, is not a destination. It's a way of being. And that means you can start today. You can begin now. You can bring riches into your world by transforming your mindset, your work, and your way of showing up, wherever you are. Because you are not at the mercy of luck. You are the creator of wealth. And your business, when powered by the certain way, becomes your vessel to abundance. Chapter 14. The Impression of Increase. Every person you meet is seeking one thing: increase. Whether they know it or not, every soul longs to grow, expand, and move forward. It's a universal desire. And if you want to get rich in the certain way, you must become someone who radiates increase wherever you go. That means this: every interaction, every exchange, every business deal, every word you speak should leave the other person feeling that they gained something from being with you. It doesn't have to be money or material things. It can be a sense of possibility, encouragement, confidence, a new idea, a positive energy. When people feel they grow in your presence, they are drawn to you. They want to do business with you. They want to support you. They remember you. Wattles calls this conveying the impression of increase, and this impression is magnetic. Make it your mission to be a source of increase in every situation. To do that, you must hold a clear vision of your own abundance. You must believe deeply that the universe is rich, and that there's more than enough to go around. From that belief, you give generously, even if it's just your attitude or your smile. Let people walk away from you feeling richer, not poorer, not drained, but expanded. Because when you give the impression of increase to others, you align yourself with the fundamental law of abundance, and in return, the universe gives increase to you. Chapter 15. The Advancing Man. The world is drawn to the person who is always moving forward. Wallace D. Wattles calls this person the advancing man, someone who radiates growth, purpose, and positive momentum. Why is this important? Because people naturally follow those who appear to be going somewhere. If you want to create wealth, success, and opportunity, you must carry yourself as someone who is on the rise, not in a fake or arrogant way, but with real, steady, visible progress. That means walk with intention, speak with confidence, let your work show excellence, be consistent in your actions, hold a clear vision of where you're headed. When you embody these traits, you become magnetic. People feel your energy, they trust you, they want to work with you, buy from you, learn from you. And here's the key. Advancement is not about being better than others. It's about being better than you were yesterday. Even small steps forward create massive results over time. Wattles emphasizes that to truly succeed, your presence must communicate this message. I am growing, and you can grow too if you walk with me. That's the essence of leadership, and leadership multiplies success. So be the advancing man or woman, always learning, always improving, always adding value, always lifting others. As you rise, when you live this way, you don't chase success, you attract it, and with every step forward, the universe opens more doors for you. Chapter 16. Some Cautions and Concluding Observations. Now that you understand the science of getting rich, Wallace D. Wattles offers a few final, essential reminders. First, stay calm and focused. When you begin to apply these principles, you may feel eager, even impatient, to see fast results. But growth takes time, and the universe works in perfect order. Your job is not to rush, but to trust. Do not act in a hurry or out of anxiety. Act in faith, with clarity and purpose. Second, avoid competitive thinking. Never fall into the trap of believing that someone else's gain is your loss. The riches of the universe are infinite. There's more than enough for everyone. Stay creative, not competitive. Focus on expansion, not fear. If someone else succeeds, rejoice, because it proves success is possible. Let others inspire you, not intimidate you. Third, avoid doubt. Doubt weakens your power. It's like planting a seed, then digging it up every day to check if it's growing. Instead, plant your thoughts of wealth and water them daily with faith, gratitude, and action. Know that every right action you take is moving you closer to your vision, even if you can't yet see the full picture. Lastly, never stop applying what you've learned. Read, reread, and internalize these ideas until they become your natural way of thinking. Speak only of abundance. Think only of increase. Act only in alignment with your purpose. Because in the end, getting rich isn't just about money. It's about becoming who you were meant to be. And when you live in this way, riches must come to you, by law, by thought, and by the power of your own creative mind. Epilogue. A new way of living. You've now taken in the timeless wisdom of the science of getting rich, not just a book, but a blueprint for transformation. What you've learned is simple, yet profound. Thoughts become things. Desire is divine. Wealth is your right. You are not meant to struggle endlessly, nor to live a life of scarcity and limitation. You were born to create, to expand, and to express your full potential in the form of a rich and fulfilling life. But remember, this is not about wishing or hoping, it's about knowing. Knowing that the universe is abundant. Knowing that your thoughts hold power. Knowing that action, when rooted in purpose and faith, will unlock the doors you've been waiting to walk through. There will be challenges, yes. There will be moments of doubt, distraction, and delay. But now, you have the tools to realign. Just return to the core truths. Hold the vision. Act with faith. Think in a certain way. Be a source of increase in all you do. And above all, persist. Let this knowledge not just sit in your mind, but take root in your heart. Live it. Because the moment you fully step into this way of thinking, you begin to reshape your world, not just materially, but spiritually, emotionally, and creatively. You don't just get rich, you become rich, and in every sense of the word. Now go forward, create, expand, and live the abundant life that is waiting for you.